So today what I'm going to be doing is a 2020 prediction in alternate history scenario where Bernie Sanders would have announced a independent run for president. So first thing I'm going to say is Donald Trump wins the election by landslide or even blow up margins. And why is that? Well, although Donald Trump might not win the state of Hawaii in a regular scenario, what might end up happening is that the vote splitting causes the vote to split and just go to Donald Trump regardless. So our safe states for the Republican Party would be just a regular states. States like Texas would be safe. All of Nebraska, states like Iowa, all these states would be safe. States like Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, Kentucky, and believe it or not, these states, although they might be close in a regular election, in a scenario where there's like a ton of vote splitting, these states might not go to the other parties, the other two parties by a considerable margin. So I think our safe states would be also the state of New Hampshire, Maine's second district, and then the other two would be considerable. So whatever left, technically speaking, is our safe Democratic states would actually not be safe anymore. So first of all, I would like to say that states like Florida would become likely for Donald Trump. Same thing in states like Colorado, New Mexico, Nevada, Virginia, Pennsylvania, Minnesota, the whole Rust Belt, and technically speaking, would be coming to likely margins for Donald Trump just because of vote splitting. The vote splitting is going to be so big that you're going to see all these states that are going to flip for Donald Trump, and you're going to be crazy like, what is going on? So, what's left is technically our states that usually go Democratic, but now we're going to see what I think would happen to each state. So, let's go with our lean states for Donald Trump, I guess. And I think in this case, states like Oregon would go lean to Donald Trump. I think there could be a close race in the state of Oregon, but ultimately Donald Trump would carry it because after vote splitting, the state of Maine is the Oregon is also very trending Republican. So imagine the vote splitting and all the trends that are already Republican. This could be a likely. I think I'm gonna put it as a likely seat actually. So state of Oregon would actually be likely. Same thing in the state of New Jersey. I say I'll put it in the likely column. It had a very close governor's race in 2019 or 2017, my bad. And you can see that there's a lot more Republican trends. There's always been Republican roots in the state of New Jersey. And I think vote splitting is just the scenario where Donald Trump would carry that. Especially because remember, the Democratic Party is trying to go either a Bernie Sanders or Biden wing. So there's states that definitely will never go to the Republican Party. Some that could go, like the state of Oregon and the state of New Jersey. So yeah, so let's go like that. So the state of Delaware, I think it would go to Joe Biden by a likely margin. Same thing in the state of here in the state of Vermont, I think would go in a likely margin for Donald Trump. Now we're left with the non-home states, which again could be something very interesting to see. When it comes to states like Massachusetts, I think it would be a close race. I think the state of Massachusetts would become a tilt state for the Sanders campaign. And looking at this map, we already know that Donald Trump wins the presidency. But with the vote splitting, we're not trying to see who wins, but why the candidate that doesn't have vote splitting wins by that much. So the states that are left are the most Democratic states in the union, and I can already say that some of these states could be more likely to go than others. Washington is also trending a lot more Republican. I think it probably would have gone a lightly like a lean margin to Donald Trump, narrowly beating probably I think Joe Biden would have won second place, close to Bernie Sanders third place. So what's left? So we're left with states like Illinois. State of Illinois, I think, could easily go by a lean margin in this third party Sanders campaign run. Because the state of Illinois, believe it or not, it has a lot of Republican roots still there. They had a Republican senator until 2016, and there is a lot of vote in that state to maybe get the Republicans win in that state. So this is probably going to be one of the most unheard of elections in the history of the United States. And you're going to be saying, well, how is someone like Donald Trump winning the state of Illinois? How are they winning the state of Washington, Oregon, and even like states like Virginia, North Carolina, Virginia, Nevada, and Colorado by the margins they're winning the seats of those states? So looking at this, I think other states that could probably go for Donald Trump in the lean column, I think would be states like the state of Connecticut. The state of Connecticut could easily go in these margins because of the different. There's a lot of, again, most of the Northeast used to be Republican. There is still some Republican roots, and remember, the Northeast, I think, is one of the most affluent parts of the United States. I guess that's where you could see a lot of Republican voters, but then also must consider that a lot of people have been moving there in the last couple of years. So states like Connecticut could easily go in the lean column for Donald Trump when vote splitting is accounted for. When it comes to Maine at large, I think it was close in 2016. Donald Trump could probably carry it by a couple points. Same thing as Amin's first district. Vote splitting is a thing that Democrats should be worried about if they choose to run a Sanders campaign. And in all honesty, Democrats, if this were to happen, which is very highly unlikely, Democrats should be worried. Because then they're giving the presidency to Donald Trump in a silver platter. When it comes to the state of California, I could easily see this going to Trump. Why? Well, because the state of California, although it might be super democratic, think about it. 30%, so if they can split it 15-15 plus whatever they had. So think about it like this. Democrats usually win the state of California by around 67%, something like that, right? So imagine they split a lot of the vote, which honestly could actually mean that after looking at this, the state of California could go nearly to Bernie Sanders by a tilt margin. Because if you split the margins, let's say you give Bernie Sanders, so it's 67-33, you split that in half. Yeah, Bernie Sanders, I think, would narrowly win the state of California. And as you can see, this would favor Bernie Sanders win because when there's a lot of vote splitting, it's either going to go to Republicans, where Biden could be more affluent and more known. And states like California, which are super strong Democratic strongholds, could easily go to Bernie Sanders. When it comes to DC, vote splitting, I think is kind of unheard of. That probably would not happen because in the District of Columbia, African American vote is pretty much what resides in that area. So Joe Biden and the Democrats win by 92%, something crazy like that. So thinking about it, it's kind of weird if vote splitting would be enough for Trump to win that, and it's kind of impossible because think about it, 92%, divide that by 2, that's what, 46%, if you divide it exactly by half. And I think Joe Biden will have a little bit more of an advantage, so it's a big margin, 42% to 8%, it's still a huge margin. So where else? Vote splitting is a thing that's also very, very, it's hard to see sometimes. Because you don't know if when there's a vote splitting, if people would go out to vote, they wouldn't even care. But again, I think in this scenario, I think Bernie Sanders would do a lot better than Joe Biden. And honestly, it's all really up to the electorate and how they split the vote. When it comes to other Democratic states, Donald Trump can easily carry the state of New York. They have enough vote in the state of New York. He could probably carry it by a tilt margin. The state of New York, there's a lot of areas like Long Island and upstate New York and like up here near the Buffalo area and the Syracuse area and then in the Long Island. Honestly, if New York City wasn't a thing, Republicans would probably carry the state of New York. So yeah, the state of New York could nearly go to Donald Trump in this scenario. States like Rhode Island, I think, could also go to Donald Trump in this scenario by narrow margins. Same thing in the state of Maryland. Some of these states are very Democratic in the Union, and honestly, vote splitting, especially by two big candidates. If we're talking someone like Biden, and then we had a Colorado Senator Michael Bennet, we're talking about a whole different scenario. What might it hurt? Well, 2 or 3 points. But we're talking someone as big as Senator Bernie Sanders for the state of Vermont, who is a national figure, first of all, and he almost won the Democratic nomination. He was second place 2 times already. So I think he would have good chances to win in certain areas. And out of the state of Hawaii, I think, honestly, Bernie Sanders could probably carry that by small margin, probably like tilt margin. So what are some of the trends we can see? First of all, regular swing states all the swing states that you see regularly would either be the following. A, safe states. B, likely states. Now, when we come and see states that are a little bit trending a little more Republican, we can see them in the likely or lean column. And then when we see states that are super Democratic and they could go to the Republican Party, you see them in tilt margins, like the state of New York, the state of Maryland, the state of Rhode Island. And then you can also see those small states that would probably go to the Democratic two nominees technically, and that would be like winning mostly in some areas of the Northeast, California, Delaware, and DC. And I think this is ultimately what it would look like if this was the scenario. And again, actually, there's an interesting fact. I remember in the 1800s, there was an election that one of the political parties, because remember at that point it wasn't Democrat and Republican. So what they tried is one of the political parties, they tried running 6 different candidates in different areas. For example, they would run one candidate to run in this area, 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 and then one in the Northeast. So they didn't realize that would do vote splitting, and that was a big scenario of vote splitting. Go check it out on Wikipedia. Just go back to the elections and you're gonna see the vote splitting, and that's how one of the presidents won the election, like by a very big margin. So again, guys, I want to thank all of you for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. Today I will have more an election night out. It would be Kamala Harris against Nikki Haley 2024 presidential election night. And subscribe, like, and smash that post notification button. Remember, if we reach 250 subscribers, we will do a giveaway. I'm really excited to get that prepared for you guys. I really want to give away some stuff. Again, thank you for watching and bye.